Am I the butthole for respecting my late wife's wishes about keeping her family out? My wife unfortunately passed away last year when our daughter was only 3 months old. It was very difficult to get through, but my little girl and I are keeping it together. My daughter is 16 months now, and there's been pressure from my wife's sister to let her side of the family see my daughter. The issue is my wife had absolutely no contact with her family since she was 18, so 16 years of not seeing them. Her home life was something she never wanted to talk about. It always made her upset, so I never pushed her to tell me. All I know is they were manipulative and abusive in some form. She left as soon as she was 18, changed her last name, and never spoke to them again. 4 years ago, she got into contact with her older sister, and she's the only person my wife allowed into our lives. By that, I mean we met through video chat, but never actually in person. We still maintained contact after my wife passed, and we met a couple times before and during my wife's funeral. My sister-in-law called me a few weeks ago. She mentioned her parents would really like to meet their granddaughter and want to start over. They didn't attend my wife's funeral because they knew she wouldn't want them to be there. One thing my wife always made clear is that she did not want them near our daughter. Ever. Telling my sister-in-law this, well, she got very upset. She said it's been years, and yes, her parents were awful people, again won't say exactly what they did, but losing their daughter has made them reflect on things. And they want to meet my daughter since my wife never gave them that chance. She's still trying to convince me, and so far, I've said no. Each time I just feel more and more bad for denying them, but it's what my wife wanted. Her parents found my Facebook, pretty sure sister-in-law might have told them, and I've gotten dozens of messages begging me to let my daughter know her mom's side of the family. And I shouldn't keep her from knowing her grandparents for past mistakes. None of them will leave me alone, and sister-in-law has said a few times that I may be grieving losing a wife, but to have some empathy for them losing a child. Because right now I'm being too heartless for denying them the chance to meet the only piece of my wife they have left. I'm at my wit's end with this because I'm not sure if I am being a butthole or not. I don't know the whole reason why my wife never wanted to see them again. Even if I did though, I'd still like to honor her wish. The way they are being, however, makes it hard not to wonder if I am not the butthole. All I know is they were manipulative and abusive in some form. The best prediction of future behavior is past behavior. None of them will leave me alone. I'm at my wit's end with this because I'm not sure if I am being a butthole or not. You're getting a glimpse of their manipulative tactics. One thing my wife always made clear is that she did not want them near our daughter. Ever. Honor her wish, heart. If the family really didn't attend the funeral to respect her wishes, I'm sure they'd do the same here. Don't let them near your daughter ever. Original poster. And talk to a lawyer. The death of a parent can be grounds for grandparents' rights. Grandparents' rights don't supersede parental rights in a case where there is a living and active parent, though. Edit. Because of all the similar replies, I'll just put this here. I'm using Ops Post as the hypothetical that my comment references. There isn't a statute, in the USA, that will force a parent to give visitation to grandparents given the original poster's situation. Grandparents' rights are obviously real, they just do not apply here, presuming original poster is in the USA. Depends on the state, US. Some will allow a grandparenting time schedule. Although usually there is a pre-existing relationship with child required. And caving right now and letting them see daughter would give them grounds to argue they have a pre-existing relationship. Not the butthole original poster. Block them all so they stop getting in your head. This is the behavior your wife left to escape. First off, original poster, don't take legal advice from people on Reddit. Most of the time they spew some bullcrap they had once and they will pass that on as the one truth. You're not the butthole, they are trying to manipulate you. I wish you the best. That's not true. There was a case where grandparents successfully sued a parent for access to the kid. There are lots of cases of this, but usually, from my understanding, I'm not a lawyer, grandparents' rights are granted most often when the grandparents already had a bond with the child and the court decided severing the bond would be harmful for the child. The fact that the mother hadn't had contact with them in 16 years and they had never met Op's child would work in his favor. That being said, I think it'd be a smart move to lawyer up. Put on a strong front that the answer is no and they are not to contact you again. You may want to hire an investigator to find out about the abuse. But to me, That would be an escalation move if they persist after the lawyer. 100%, not the butthole original poster. I recommend you check out our /justnormal. You'll get lots of support and there are tons of stories about grandparents' rights, Reddit link. They want to establish that bond now. If original poster agrees to let them meet his daughter, they can sue for grandparent rights on a later stage. Don't let them meet her op. You're not the butthole for keeping your daughter safe. I actually had to protect my kids and myself because my estranged father, who had no substantial relationship with my kids prior to the estrangement, started proceedings to get access to my kids. I'm an NYS. Because he didn't already have an ongoing, regular established relationship, he never got anywhere. That said, both my husband and I were alive and married. But the lack of relationship between him and the kids stopped it stone cold. Sadly, it's been 19 years and I'm still on guard because I know he's lurking and waiting to contact my kids now that they're adults about how evil I am and how I kept poor, innocent him from their lives. Sadly, it's been 19 years and I'm still on guard because I know he's lurking and waiting to contact my kids now that they're adults about how evil I am and how I kept poor, innocent him from their lives. Tell them. I know it's going to be hard, and it's going to drag up all kinds of painful crap, but they are old enough to understand what he did by this point. And you need them to know. They need to know who he was and what he did to you so they can know why you've cut him out and that he's not the innocent aggrieved party in all this. If you don't, you're just leaving a window cracked for him to sneak into their lives from the back. My grandfather left before I was born and I was curious about him well into my teens. He was alive and well until I was in my 20s, but at some point I learned my mother's extremely nervous nature was due in part to her looking like my grandmother and being on the receiving end of his fists when he was drunk. When I discovered that fact, I decided not to join a few of my cousins who made a trip to meet him. By all accounts, it was a waste of time anyway. That can happen in the event that the G parents have an existing relationship with the child and then the parent dies. If that were the case, and original poster was in a state that had grandparents' rights, then he may want to speak with a lawyer. However, if they've never even met the child, they're not going to be able to get any rights. A judge isn't going to send your child off to a stranger just because. They apply grandparents' rights when it's in the child's best interest to maintain the existing relationship. And they don't even exist in every state to begin with, assuming original poster is in the USA. I'm a lawyer. Not all states recognize grandparents' rights. Even where there is a prior relationship. Right or wrong, it is generally up to the parent. Seconding this. While it depends on where you live if grandparents' rights exist and to what degree, one parent dying can give them standing even if they previously had none. In some states you simply need to prove to a judge that you have tried to have a relationship and been denied, keep a record of all their attempts to pressure you, any written forms of your wife not wanting to visit, and try and get a restraining order. Deactivate your Facebook for a while, block them, and keep honoring your wife's wishes. They are showing you what they are like when they don't get what they want, and this is they supposedly changed. Also, as your daughter grows up, will likely need to be careful about social media because this rodeo may start right back up again. Edit, spelling. Not the butthole. But when it comes to preschools and babysitters, make sure they know that under no circumstances should the family see the daughter, not to mention hand her over to them. Heavily emphasize this and probably cut contact with sister-in-law. She doesn't seem to have kept your wife's wishes at heart. Exactly. Sil has acknowledged that their parents were awful people and now she's on their side? Cut ties with all of them. It's what your wife would be doing if she was here. You're not the butthole and I'm sorry for your loss. Edit typo. It's what your wife would be doing if she was here. Damn, I'm not even original poster and that still hit me. I'm a widow. Our youngest were 7 when my husband died almost 5 years ago. I still think that at certain parenting moments, even though he's not physically here, he's still with me and I try to do what we would have jointly decided. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you so much. It's been a struggle. Exactly this, because they're seeing your child as their do-over baby. I think you need to block them all, including the sister, because as long as you leave that door open they will push for seeing your baby. My ex was abusive and has never met the child he helped make. I did give him a chance and he blew it by making demands and threats. His mother reached out when she was 3 months old and I didn't reply because I knew that if I let her in, It left a way in for him, and I wasn't putting my child through that abuse. This is right on the money. If these people truly had changed, they would try and be more respectful. Listen to the no and try again a year later. Maybe ask for permission to send a birthday gift via mail. Ask for permission to maybe help financially. Do anything that is in their granddaughter's interest rather than theirs to prove they care. The fact they are pressuring you and insist on wanting to meet rather than do anything else means they are still more focused on their needs being met. Not a good sign. The best prediction of future behavior is past behavior. My favorite psych teacher always said it was hard to reliably predict behavior, but the best prediction of future behavior is past behavior. It was almost a mantra with her. Edit. Thanks for all the awards and Space Goat comments, term which I'll keep on using incorrectly. Edit 2. You guys are making me laugh so much. Strangers on the internet might be one of the best things. Heart, do not even answer. Not answering is a response and many times better than saying no. You got to protect your daughter the way your wife tried to protect her and herself. The only thing you know is that they were manipulative, yet your wife could get very upset if her family was mentioned, so imagine the entire trauma she had to deal with. Maybe she was the space goat and that's why her sister defends them. Either way, break contact with the sister too. Does she keep in contact with you out of genuine interest of her nephew/niece, or because she sees that the door could be slightly open to let her parents in, now that the factor who didn't want them is dead? What if one day you meet with the sister and suddenly you see two older people with her? They won't let you escape. This is not a coincidence. That now they want to be in your life. They already wanted to insert themselves in a channel to that was the sister, who has probably given them a lot of information and photos you may have shared with her. This sister-in-law is fighting her parents' fight for them now, and the fact that neither she nor your wife told them exactly why your wife went NC is terrifying. She's crossing boundaries left and right. She's shown you who she is, so believe her and cut her off. She's also advocating for access while refusing to tell original poster what her parents did that was bad enough that his late wife cut them off for 16 years. He wouldn't even know what to look out for. Cut off sister-in-law now. She's showing she's a danger to your daughter. I absolutely agree. The sister is acting as a flying monkey. The door they saw open was the death of Op's wife. Now they know the person who knows what they're capable of is gone. Awful to say it, but they probably see this as an opportunity. As someone who had to write in my will that my bio dad is never to be allowed access to my child, I know exactly the kind of thing awful grandparents could be capable of. Cut contact with the sis. Her behavior is toxic and manipulative and already making original poster who is absolutely not the butthole feel like he is somehow wrong. That's a huge red flag and they're still on good behavior now. Cut, run, and go live in peace with your child. You're protecting her and ending a chain of abuse your wife worked hard to keep her from. Please, can I keep Space Goat? It's so much more cheery than the reality. Space Goat is an amazing typo. Perhaps a scapegoat who escapes becomes a space goat, because they got space, and became a star, I don't know. Space Goat is oddly inspiring, isn't it? You're right, it's like, growing up as the scapegoat is bad, but then you become an awesome space goat. A brave space goat who never looks back, always seeking adventures and freedom with other space goats. I didn't expect to be crying and needing a therapy session at 8 a.m. on a Sunday, thank you for that. I know it was just a silly, cute comment, but lately I've been struggling with the abusive parents facet of my past and I really needed that right now. I'm going to be a space goat, and I will be a good one. Space goat, /spaz ot/ noun. A person whom has survived and risen above the consequences of being blamed for what others have done. I'm drawing this tomorrow when I wake up. It's too perfect. Drawn. Web link. I appreciate this as a space goat, rocket, goat, sparkles. Please forgive the Marilyn Manson appearance. YouTube link. As a scapegoat, I absolutely love this. Goat Simulator flashbacks. Not the butthole. Do not let them have anything to do with your daughter. The last thing you want is to allow them to have a relationship with your daughter and then after a while you see exactly why your wife didn't want anything to do with them, because depending where you live, if they have an established relationship with your daughter they can go for grandparents' rights, as of right now they have no grounds. Cut the sister-in-law off till she's just giving you a taste of how toxic the rest of your wife's family are. Protect your child. Original poster replies, "Thank you for the advice. With everything on my plate, it's just been so overwhelming, and now this whole situation. I want to be able to honor my wife's wishes. Whatever the reason was that made her cut all contact with them. And do not believe the parents' crap that they are grieving the loss of their child. They abused her and lost her completely 16 years ago. They deserve nothing. The fact neither your wife or her sister can even indicate in even a vague or more generalized way the abuse that occurred, means it was truly horrendous. Tell your sister-in-law this is a permanent and hard no, and if she cannot accept and respect that fully, which means providing no information to her parents, then she cannot have contact with your child either. You need to be very, very careful with her even if it appears she's going along with this. You'll likely need to cut her off too anyway, as she's already shown she's on their side. The part where she left at 18 and changed her last name tells me it was really bad. Not the butthole. Block everyone and move on. And do let the aunt take your child. For all you know she'll take them right to her family without your knowledge or consent. This, 100%. My first thought. Absolutely this, original poster. Not the butthole. Block them all. Including Sil. It seems to me that their manipulation tactics are already working. Manipulative abusers know how to play off the weaknesses of others. Your wife had so much trauma from her past that she decided to leave at 18. I lived with my mom until I was 24. I couldn't imagine being on my own so young. Your wife did that because she had no other choice. All she asked of you was to keep her daughter safe. Keep her from these people. Your wife would not have changed her mind about a relationship with them. You were her family. And don't build up a case for her family in your head. They may have said they didn't attend the funeral because she wouldn't have liked it, but that's far from the truth. They didn't want to go. They had their chance with your wife. They ruined it. Keep your baby safe. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.